There's a lot of different opinions about this. Have you been wondering how to find peace after a divorce? Is it even possible?
Peace? Yeah, absolutely. That is totally doable. No, I don't think so. Peace? Really? I don't think that's very possible. This is a divorce. You've got to find a way to make this fester and boil inside of you. Okay, you want to create some peace, right? Because this hard thing has happened. And a lot of people, it knocks them out. It doesn't have to, because there are some steps that you can take to actually create peace in your world. One of the first things that you want to do is get your mind out of that fight or flight mode that always happens when we get hurt. This is a natural reaction that your brain has to something that's threatening or painful. Fight or flight. Instead, we want to get that brain back into thinking mode, where we use the prefrontal part of our brain that's in charge of logic and reason and problem solving, and also some important things like compassion and empathy. You enact that part of your brain, and suddenly you've got the resources now to handle this thing differently. Now, the first thing that we want to do as we get out of fight or flight mode is to reframe or think about this experience in a way that allows you to take it less personally. You were legitimately hurt. Don't forget about that. And take this personally. This is all about you. It's about how you messed up, how you failed in this relationship. I mean, let that thing bug you for a while. You can't let them have the satisfaction. You really want to drive the point home that this has ruined your life, and you want your ex to be responsible for this forever. You want to blame them, right? Realize that your experience here is extraordinary. Nobody has it as bad as you. This is the worst. Take it very personally. This is all about you. What kind of people go through a divorce? I'm here to tell you, really good people end up in this situation. It's not about you. It's not about you failing or blowing it in any way. Really good people who are trying to do the right things sometimes end up in this kind of a setting. Now, can you handle this? Yeah, you absolutely can. Just like a lot of other good people who have been there before you. So when you get out of that fight or flight mode and you're able to look at this in a way that you take it less personally, here's one way you might want to do that. What if instead of your situation, you were to trade places with me in my situation, or my wife in her situation? Okay, we have the best marriage that I know of. So you're going to trade places with me. Now, I'm in your place, you're in my place, or in my wife's place. What happens? Well, probably some of the same things are going to happen. Because in your world, with your circumstances, I'm going to experience something very similar to what you've experienced. That's just how it rolls. Now, might I handle things differently than you would? Well, I don't know. If I were you, people ask me this all the time. Dr. Paul, if you were me, what would you do? If I were you, I'd do what you do. Isn't that obvious? Your circumstances, your history, everything that you have has led you up to where you are. And that's fine. In fact, it's perfect for you. If I were in your place, I'd do what you do. If you were in my place, you'd do what I do. Taking it less personally actually puts you in a position where you can do some of the other steps that we can still talk about. Okay, we've got to get clear about this. This is not your fault. That nasty ex of yours has ruined your life. And if you blame them, if you really take that position and make sure that, this isn't me. Ooh, look at that person who ruined my life. Blame them. Blame them for how you feel. Blame them for how your life is now. Blame them for everything bad that's ever going to happen in your life from here on out. That's how you handle this. Look, If you're going to hold a really good grievance about this, you have to blame them. I don't know how you were ever deceived into a relationship with this person in the first place. Probably because they're a borderline, narcissistic, master manipulator. Wow, that gives a lot of power to your ex. Are you sure you want to do that? I'm thinking instead of blaming, what if we just own it? What if we just own our part? So this step has to do with take full responsibility for how you feel. Notice I'm not trying to hang everything on you. And it's not about blame. Taking responsibility for how you feel has nothing to do with blame or fault. It is simply acknowledging that you're never wrong about how you feel. How you feel is 100% consistent with the way your own mind is doing the processes of evaluation and creation. You can learn about that in another video about how to stay positive no matter what. You're never wrong about how you feel. How you're processing this is driving your feelings. Well, what does that have to do with your ex? Well, really not much at all. They're an actor. They're part of this whole story, but how you're handling it has more to do with how you feel. Now, this can sting a little bit at first because it's so easy to, blame that nasty ex who, by the way, they're not as nasty as they seem, honestly. I have found through my experience in working with divorce, child custody, clinical psychology, that divorce brings out the worst in people. Unfortunately, that's probably true for you too, so watch out for it. But this person that you're divorcing probably is a much better person than they seem to be during the divorce. I saw that time and time again as I interviewed people. In fact, you know what? During child custody evaluations, I'd have the mom come in, and she started telling me these stories about her ex. Master manipulator, pathological liar. I'd heard all of these all the time, and I'm like, really? There are that many master manipulator, pathological liar, borderline personality people out there? No, it's that divorce brings out the worst in them, and so that's how they describe them in the interview. By the end of the interview, I'm like, man, I hate this person, right? But then the other parent would come in a few days later, and they'd start telling me about this terrible, psychologically disturbed ex that they have, and I'm like, wow, I hate that person too. The thing is, both people are really decent people. I know that your circumstances seem extraordinary, and they are for you. I want you to have a bigger, larger perspective of this, that in the larger scheme of things, you're not a special case. This stuff happens, and it happens to good people. So as you start to reframe that in a way that allows you to take it less personally, and then you move to this particular step, which is where you take full responsibility for how you feel and stop blaming that other person, it puts you in a position of power. All right, guys, so listen up. Here's how we seal the deal and form a grievance that can last forever. What you got to do is create a story, not just any story. This is a story where that evil villain ex of yours is the nasty villain and you are the poor, pitiful victim in this story. It's not your fault. They're the ones who beat you up. So you create this story and it's got to take on a life of its own, where you continue to build it and grow it and you share it with anybody who will listen. A victim story. If you'll do these things, you can create a grievance, a grudge, this nasty thing that will live on forever. And it will cause you to be in a place where people might take pity on you. They'll look at you and say, oh, it's not his fault, really. I mean, look at all this terrible stuff that happened to him. This works, and it works really well. A victim story? Really? Is that the story you want to promote? Picture if you're driving up to the great premiere of your life story in the red carpet in the theater and your name up in lights, right? And as you're driving up to the theater, you see this sign. It says, Paul's life, starring his ex. Whoa, hold on. Who is the star of this show? Do you really want to be the pitiful victim? Or do you want to be the hero of this show? It's your show. You're the casting director. What if we ditch the victim story and instead we install a hero story? Whose name's on the marquee? Yours is. Where's your ex? Well, how about we put him in the credits somewhere? You know, the end credits that nobody really sticks around to watch anyway. They're part of the show. They're relevant. But really, a villain in any story is only there to illuminate the hero. I'm not saying your ex is a villain. Your ex is probably a really amazing human being that you chose on purpose at one point. You didn't make a mistake. You chose well. Let's get back to where they can play the role that they're going to play. Whatever they did is fine for the story, but they get to show up in the end credits, not on the title marquee. You with me? So this hero story is all about you. And it's about how you have encountered some difficult things. And despite that, you stuck to your principles. You continued to practice integrity in your own life. And you came through this a better person than you were going into it. That's an inspiring hero story. I tell you what, if you follow these 3 steps, where you turn your brain back on, find a way to take this less personally, take full responsibility for how you feel, and create a hero story, you can and will create and experience that peace that you've been longing for. Totally doable. And it doesn't matter what your ex does. They're just going to go do their exly thing, you know, whatever that is for you. It doesn't matter because you've got this and you can create this on purpose.
Well, you've heard the 2 arguments. Pick a position. Pick whichever one serves you best. I think I know which direction you're going. I'll see you tomorrow.